All right, hey YouTube. I'm back with another talk discussion about my Yamaha Seqtrak. So I've had it now for like 15 days exactly, if we're counting. And this will be my second video about the Seqtrak itself. The first one I made, honestly, I didn't think it would get much traction, but like quite a few of you watched it. Was just talking through kind of why I chose it, and I think I called it why the Seqtrak is the best groove box for mediocre guitar players. I didn't really have much to say in it other than it was easier to use than I thought it would be, and I was having a good time with it. And then I showed the jam that I made that first day that I had it, like a little Bob Weir Grateful Dead tribute. And then since then, I've put out on YouTube, I think 4 or 5 different videos of me playing around, doing jams, honestly mostly doing these for like my friends. It's songs that me and my friends like, and I kind of cut up samples and did a little jam. Put them on YouTube just to have a distribution channel. But again, like people are watching those and enjoying them. So I think I owe it to folks to do a little bit more in-depth discussion from the same point of view. So a reminder about me, I have zero experience with DAWs or music production or electronic instruments beyond, like I have a loop pedal, like a 15-year-old loop pedal for my electric guitar that I dabble with. And I have a stylophone beat, which is a very like limited tool that I played around with. And like this is my first like foray into electronic music, groove boxes, anything like that. So I made an agenda this time and I wrote it down with one of my kids' markers. So if you're interested, stick around and I'll talk about what I was looking for and why, what I cross-shopped, why I went with the Seqtrak, the learning curve, am I having fun, pros, cons, and we'll see how long that takes, but I might do a little jam, or at least talk about my process a little bit with the Seqtrak. So stick around if you want to learn about that, and I'll kick it off at the top. So what I wanted and why. I think I mentioned, or maybe I haven't said it on this one, but I'm a mediocre guitar player. Like I played since I was in middle school, but like did the typical thing where you kind of plateau. Like I play bar chords and I'm an okay, like kind of lead improviser, but like definitely would not play in public. Like not like an open mic or anything, not that good. Same thing with piano, like played as a kid. I kind of know basic chords, but for the most part, I like to, what I will call jam. So that is I will jam along with what's happening. I'll put on a record or something and just play along with it. I do a little bit of my own kind of like singing and playing for my kids, but I honestly just kind of noodle and do this just for fun. I work a kind of stressful job, so I come home at night, and if I pick a guitar for 10, 15 minutes, play a little piano, it's all fun. So what I was looking for here, funny backstory, I've got a group of guys that I go on annual camping and kind of river trips with, and over the last like 4 or 5 years, we've progressively gotten into kind of weird instruments. It started with my buddy that brought a hand pan on a river trip, and that was intriguing. The next year, I brought the stylophone and a melodica, so that's like the keyboard that you blow into to play with. And it's kind of gotten to this point where like, there's also like this weird whistle thing, some flutes, and I wanted to kind of knock people's socks off this year. So what I was really looking for is something that's self-contained, battery operated, could be plugged into a speaker, and honestly looking for kind of the giggle factor, which sounds kind of silly as a 40-year-old man, but something that I could bring out, play some music, get my buddies kind of excited about it, and maybe we have a laugh, maybe I do something silly on it, but like honestly something that is just fun to jam on and compact and go on these trips. So kind of what other things I was looking at, this was top of my list. The Teenage Engineering OP1 was obviously like the top thing that I really wanted, but so expensive, so immediately ruled that out. Looking at other samplers, there was one that I like almost pulled the trigger on. It was called the lo-fi, I'm forgetting what it's called. I'll remember and I'll put it in here. Sonic Wave, something like that. I'm glad I didn't go with that because it didn't have a sampler, but it was basically like you could create little lo-fi beats. It's literally called the lo-fi beat. Looked at some of like the ones that are more tap pads. There were some of the cheaper Teenage Engineering ones, but I kept coming back to this because the price point, the onboard speaker, the sampling, and though it is very complicated, and like a lot of the reviews and first reactions of folks using this will tell you that it's intuitive, but at the same time, it has a lot of menus. Like you really need the app to kind of unlock some of the key features and I mean, there's just a lot in here, and there's like 7, 14, there's literally 25 buttons on the perimeter of this thing. And then that doesn't mention the 8/4 and like these guys. There's a lot to learn on the Seqtrak. And though it is very intuitive, like I was a little bit nervous about just my ability, not knowing what a sequencer is, not really knowing much about effects, not really knowing, I mean, there's a list of things right here: sound, pitch, mono, poly, chord, decay, resonance, all things that were like kind of foreign language to me. And even to this point, like I've learned a little bit, but I'm not like, definitely not an expert. I'm just kind of scratching the surface of this electronic kind of DAW music world. So it's a little bit intimidating, but I came back to it, like I said, price point, self-contained speaker that, and like I'm relatively capable of like figuring stuff out, and I am musical. Like that's the one thing that I have, as like I have a good beat, good rhythm, like I do a really good job. Like I said, I'm not a great guitar player, but I can pretty much pick up a guitar, listen to it on the radio or a record, and kind of figure out the basic progression and like how to play it like pretty easily. So I thought I could do it. So I jumped in, bought it, and then it landed great about Amazon. Showed up literally the next day. It might have been overnight shipping. So I covered, did I say what I wanted? Yes. And why? Yes. I wanted it to jam and impress my friends, and also to have something fun to do at home. So next was, I'm jumping ahead. What did I cross shop? So I talked about what I cross shopped. So I went with the Seqtrak. I think I covered that too. But as I said, I kind of checked the most boxes at a reasonable price point. Battery, onboard speaker, mic being probably like the most important things. And the ability to do sampling, because I've actually I thought I would have fun with sampling, and I'm ending up having a lot of fun with the sampling feature. Probably to the point where I'm like relying on it too much, but that's okay. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about the learning curve. Learning curve, as I mentioned in the first video, learning curve is an interesting term, and actually a steeper learning curve means it is shorter to learn, but for the sake of this conversation, I'll say it is not a steep learning curve. It was relatively simple. The basics are, you've got your drums, your drum sounds, and you can either put them on a sequencer and hit play, and it'll be like boom, 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 play on the beat. Or you can also tap them in. So if you wanted to, can I show you how to do that? It's on. Do we have volume? So if I were to go to like hold a drum and hold a pad, I think this lets me. Yep, so I could hit record and do that sort of thing. It could record the track. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the learning curve. So that was relatively simple to get the drum stuff figured out. Playing the synth parts, very easy to figure out. And you've got scale and key, so it's easy enough to change from, that's major. Oh, there you go. A little bluesy minor sort of thing going on. But pretty easy to figure out like the basics of how to change your octave, how to change the scale, how to navigate the different sounds. So you just twist and you choose the sound you want. So like the basic functionality of creating drums, getting a synth sound, and either recording it or playing it into the sequencer. I mean, within like an hour of me getting the thing, I was able to like make something that sounded like music. It was kind of fun. And my wife looked over and smiled. She's like, "You're doing a good job," which is very uncommon when I bring new instruments into the house. I usually get funny faces from her a lot. The other piece, talking about learning curve, the sampling. Also, I mean, a little bit of learning curve there as far as like you have to tell it whether you want the sample to come in through USB or through the mic or through an audio in. For the most part, I'm using my phone, connecting it USB-C to USB-C and recording straight off my phone into the pads here. Here, this is working on a little Paul Simon project right now. But you play them in there, and as far as learning curve, like you have to learn how to trim your samples so that there's not like a lot of dead space before they start. And then the app helps. So I guess I'll say one of the things I wanted was self-contained, but I found myself using the app not a ton. I use it for kind of the primary purpose of like setting up what I'll call setting up a project. So say this one I'm working on right now, I want to do this Call Me Al kind of remix techno song. So I use the app to, first step is kind of dial in the voices that I want on my synth tracks, or my synth tones, I guess. I use it to trim my samples. But other than that, once I kind of have it set up, I've got the sounds I want, I don't really use the app much. In fact, I use my phone for like recording the few videos that I've made. So there's no app involved in that at all. So I'll say like the app is very helpful. You can do it all self-contained, but like you will find benefit from the app. And I think that's probably a selling point, right? Because you always have your phone. I've also, don't have it here. My kids have iPads. I will use my daughter's iPad that has this nice little stand. So I have a big screen. My clunky fingers can kind of click the dials and stuff, but it's helpful to have the app. Other learning curve stuff. I'd say there's a medium steep learning curve with if you want to bring in accessories, auxiliary things. A couple examples. Someone watched one of my videos and said, oh, you like the Seqtrak, wait till you try it with a MIDI controller. So I got this off Facebook Marketplace for $50. This is an old Akai MPK Mini. I think it's the MP3 or 4. That's got these pads, which are cool. And like I said, I'm a mediocre piano player, so having keys versus being limited to these 7 keys here, which are great, but like this has been like kind of an unlock. But as far as getting it all hooked up, I've got one other thing to mention. It's packed away. It's going back, but I got a cheap, it's called the Donner N25 MIDI keyboard. It was like, I think not the cheapest one on Amazon, but like maybe the second or third cheapest MIDI controller. Not compatible with this at all. I could not get the keys to not just play the kick drum tone. And I spent probably like 2 hours yelling at ChatGPT, Gemini, and Alexa. I'm looking over there because she's gonna wake up. She didn't. Those 3 things, trying to like get instructions to make it work, couldn't make it happen. This guy, I don't know if it's on frame or not, but works. But where the learning curve comes in is this provides power to your MIDI controller. This thing consumes a lot of power. So if I just plug it in straight up to the USB, I get maybe 5 minutes before the MIDI controller dies on me. And then what's challenging, since there's only one USB on the Seqtrak, and USB is what does the power, if you plug this in, you need some sort of a splitter so that you can do data back and forth, power back and forth, and then also feed power into the Yamaha. And this thing kind of works. Like, I can put a link to what it was. This was only like a $9 kind of dongle I got off Amazon. I have another one coming that was a little more expensive that I'm hoping works. So we'll figure that out. And then learning curve to actually get the MIDI going. There's quite a bit you have to do. You have to map your key tracks to the MIDI programs, which involves downloading a software and typing in a bunch of numbers and hitting send. And it took me an hour to figure that out. And then the other thing I wanted to do, I don't know if I'm in the frame or not, I can't see my screen. But getting these, I wanted these to play drums, and I also wanted to use them for samples. And again, that was a bit of a learning curve. And thank God there's the version 2 of the software for this, because that made it so you can actually play the drums. Because before that, you can only do one MIDI, I promise I have no idea what I'm talking about. There's one MIDI channel can go to the pads, and they made it in V2 that you can take a drum track and make it a drum kit. This probably makes no sense if you're watching this and don't have one of these things. But anyway, long story short, it gave you the ability to go kick, snare, hi-hat, shaker, clapper, whatever. So you can play in your drum tracks, which has been a lot of fun. So this thing's awesome. I've only had it for a couple days. I'm trying not to be too reliant on it because I like the self-contained nature, but this is an unlock from just a playability, jammability, just the ability to like get moving fast on a project, versus this, there's a little bit more setup involved. The other complication I've yet to figure out, as you'll notice if you've watched any of my other YouTube videos where I'm like just doing a jam, if you will, I'm pretty much just running my USB-C to my phone that's there on a little tripod, and that is doing all of the recording back and forth. Now that I've introduced the MIDI, the splitter, the controller, I've yet to figure out how to send a good audio signal to the phone for recording. And I've done some research and have not found a clear solution. I've got USB hubs. There's one sitting over there. I'm not gonna go grab it. Long story short, not working. So what I think I need to do is figure out how to use the audio out, or the phone's port, to go into my phone, not headphones, like iPhone. Anyway, we'll sort that out. So there's a learning curve associated with adding accessories, getting familiar with the controls, and I continue to say that though I've had this thing for 2 weeks, I'm still only scratching the surface of what it is capable of. Like sound design, and there's, I don't know, the key things that I use: I increase the bar length, I change the octave scale and key, I can change the voicing of all the instruments, drum and synth tracks. I can do a little bit with the effects. I can change the pitch and volume. I can trim samples. That's basically all I'm doing to create all the jams I've done up to this point. Okay, that was long-winded. I think I got through learning curve. Number 5, am I having fun? Heck yes, this thing is awesome. I can't put it down. Like, basically my routine is, I've got 2 young kids. They go to bed around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And depending on kind of the state of the kitchen and the house and things, I am usually able to kind of hop on here. I throw on my headphones, I get my phone, and I start playing around with it. And what I have been doing, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but I've been doing what I'm calling projects. So I take 30 minutes to get some samples going, and then you figure out how to match the tempo and the key and the pitch. And once I have those kind of figured out, it takes about a half hour, I then just kind of play around with it. So like this one, oh, where'd I go? Got my samples. Here's a little preview. Call Me Al, good song. So just kind of play around with it. And then once I've played around with it to the point where I feel comfortable, I'm trying to document these things. And like I said, I want to send them to my friends. So I plug in the phone, and usually I get it in 2 to 3 takes. I can make like a 3 to 5 minute video of me starting with the thing turned off, bringing in the drums, bringing in some synth, doing some samples. And I try to like compose it in a way that it sounds like it has some sort of arc or flow, or I don't know, as a song, and not just like a beat over and over with Paul Simon saying the same thing over and over. So yeah, super fun. I see this only becoming more fun, and it's like a nice hobby, especially when I bring in the keyboard, mini pad, and yeah, who knows where it's going to take me, but I do not see myself not doing this 2 or 3 times a week for a couple hours. So yes, very fun. So next I put pros and cons. I think I've covered most of them in this, but like the pros: compact, lightweight, self-contained. The app is awesome. The ability to just turn it on and, like I said, just jam. So like I play it like an instrument for the most part, or like in my mind, I play it like an instrument. Like I wanted something that I can go as fast from like blank project, and they're actually called projects on here, that's why I keep saying it. So like blank slate, blank project, to like jamming, having fun, making music in the shortest amount of time possible, like in a given session. And this checks all those boxes, so that's a pro. Cons, and the kind of complexity with getting all the dongles and things figured out. That's honestly it. I can't think of any more cons. Like it's cheaper than all the other options. It's working out really well. I found it a little bit limiting, like with, I don't know, the number of drum tones. But again, I'm not trying to make professional music. I'm just trying to entertain myself and my friends. And it has checked all those boxes. So no complaints at all. I really like it. So to recap, 2 thumbs up. As a person that has no experience or background in this, getting a Yamaha Seqtrak as one's first groove box is a great idea. I fully endorse it. So go out there, spend whatever it costs in your local currency to get one of these and get it shipped to your house today, and have fun with it. So to wrap things up, I said that I will maybe do a little jam or talk about my process to close things up. And so let's do that. How's that sound? So first things I gotta do, I gotta find a project that's not currently taken. I don't know what this one is. Oh, I don't want to write over that one. I'm kind of running out of space here. What's this one? Okay, let's do that one. So I'm gonna do, you're gonna see a little bit of my quote workflow. So you go project, delete one. So now project one has nothing. All it has is a single kick drum on the first beat of a 1 bar measure. So where do we go from here? It's quite easy. So the one thing I've always do is the bar length of 1 is always very limiting, and I try to remember to at least scale it up to 2. So for this drum track, I'm gonna play it in here. So I'm gonna go drum track length 2, and what I'll do is I'll set just to have a metronome. Boom, boom. Oh, what happened? Oh, you know why? I was messing with let's do just 1 bar. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna take it a little faster. Okay, then I'm gonna play in some drums. Pro tip, you gotta hit record. Record, okay. There we go. Didn't love it. I'm gonna start over. Delete all these. Go back to my sequencer. Why do I have a shaker? Get out of there, shaker. Okay. Okay. Here. Okay. Let's try this again. You know, why don't we just use the sequencer? So I'll go. Yeah, there you go. Easy. Like it. Synth. Kind of bassy. You probably can't hear this. I'm gonna pitch it up so you can hear it. Okay. Let's go bar length 2. Lay down a little bass line. Cool. Synth 2. You can hear that. It changes the sound a little bit. Ooh, I like that. Then DX. Barring up to 4. And hit record. Here you go. Nice. Then you can go, so this all button takes you to a new pattern. So the best thing to do is you literally just click some of them over to another pattern. And then why don't I do, I'll play them in. Here you go. Yeah, awesome. And record. Get synth here. Let's do, so you can hear what I just put in. That's what I just put in. And then that's your first pattern. Second. Bring everything back in. And just like that, you got a jam. And then by the time you kind of work your way through, probably can't hear me, I try to, have at least 1 or 2 different like patterns for each track. And once you do that, you can go turn in knobs and play them with your repeater. And next thing you know, you got a sweet jam. So I'm gonna wrap it there. I will choose, why don't I use this? That Paul Simon riff that I was, or project that I was tinkering with here. I will finish that tonight, attach it to the end of this video, and I'll publish it out there so you can see kind of process end to end. Why I like this, and then a good checkpoint for what I've been able to do in 15 days with my Yamaha Seqtrak. And then we'll put in a plug for couple of the other videos that I've made in the time from when I bought it to now. The best one is the animal cover by Goose. I highly recommend you check that one out. That was the third night I had with this, and I'm still just like really happy with the way it turned out. Like I want to toot my own horn, but I feel like you could play it in a bar with a lot of Goose fans and they would dig it. So I think that's kind of like my bar for what I think a successful video track looks like. So thanks for tuning in. If you have questions, or even better, you have a solution for my dongle problem to record this to a phone where I've got a MIDI controller hooked up. And also you'll see I've got a video, I did an OAR about an hour ago, like project where I brought my guitar in as an audio in. So any advice you have for like interconnecting devices and auxiliary things to make recording easier, would love to hear the feedback. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and check out some of my other jams. Thanks.
A man walks down the street, he says, why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption. Don't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon where you won't live. Dogs in the moonlight, far away in my well-lit door. Mr. Beer man, get these mutts away from me, you know. I don't find this stuff amusing anymore. If you would be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Daddy, Daddy when you call me, call me. na 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 na. If you be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. I can call you daddy, daddy when you call me out, call me, na na.